Hey guys, welcome back to Moonlit TCG. It's been about a couple months since my last upload. I do apologize about the delay. School's just been in the way for quite a bit. However, today I just want to bring you another discussion in the form of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Discussions I used to do. If you want to see one of those, look at the Vendread video on the channel. Today I'm talking about Vultures, or the Gundam X archetype here in the Gundam TCG. I'm going to go over some of the standout cards in this and my experience playing the deck as a whole. I am going to warn you, this deck, in my opinion, is kind of underwhelming, and in set 3, it's getting more support. It should be a little bit better, but I wanted to go on ahead and make this video and discuss what I've been feeling about the deck itself. Alright, so you guys should be able to see on screen here the 13 cards that actually comprise this archetype. This archetype, or faction, whatever you want to call it, wants you to have around 7 to 8 cards in trash at any given point in time. However, they also revolve around level 5 or higher units. The Gundam X, that's a rare, wants you to be able to trash or recover a level 5 or higher from trash, which we do currently have 3 versions of, being both Leopards and the LR Gundam X. However, you're not really going to be playing those. Because the two Gundam Leopards, they're good in theory and on paper, but in practice, not really. Let's go over a couple of the units that I think are worth mentioning. It's dual pair of the Gundam Air Masters. The Vanilla 3-3 is just a really good stat line. It's going to help you push pressure. And then the blocker, that's a 4-3. Honestly, a really good blocker. A lot of people don't even realize that it is a blocker because it's purple, not white. But it's got 4 AP, 3 HP, so it can definitely swing into things, as well as be a decent chunk of a blocker. It's got the same 3 health as like the Rick Diaz does. And they both link to a vanilla Vulture pilot, so it links to your Garrids and your 2 options that are also pilots. So you do have that option as well. You have the uncommon Gundam Leopard on deploy. If you have 7 cards in trash, you can rest a level 4 or lower unit. It's just, it feels like it's so late game by the time you're doing that, because it's a level 5, it's not really going to matter. And then you have the rare Gundam X, who, when it's paired with a Vulture pilot and it's destroyed, you return a level 5 or higher to your hand, which is really good because it encourages you to swing in and get rid of problematic units, as well as you can just swing it into bases. However, even with Garrett on it, it's not going to be big enough to crack a base, because it'll only have 4 AP. The only one that will be big enough is your Gundam Leopards or your Air Master, that's a blocker, with Garrett on them. Then the final one that's a unit I want to talk about is the LR Gundam X, having suppression, and its during link ability being able to give all your Vulture units plus 2 AP. Really, really good. It does make your other units be able to crack bases, but at that point, if you have this up, you should be winning the game already. Then, for the final card I want to talk about is Garrett and Tifa. It's a +1/+2 unit that during pair you can discard a card and search the top 3 cards of your deck for a Vulture, add it to your hand, the rest go to the bottom. It's a really good filtering tool depending on how many Vultures you want to run. For my testing, I've only ever wanted to run around 12 in count, because as of right now they don't really have a payoff. Looking at this, there are a couple other options. They have the Last Resort option, which is a removal, but it requires you to exile 6 cards from your trash, which does turn off other effects like your Gundam X and your Leopard. You have the Revival spell in Natural Power. You pay 2, and then you have to pay the cost of the unit to play it from trash. And you only have a 1/1, that's a 1/2 stat line, as your low end. So the low end is really where this deck is missing things. The top end is fine, in theory, between the 2 the 2 Gundam X's. So you do have things there. But yeah, this is just missing, in my opinion, a low end and maybe another pilot that gives it +2/+1, which is solved in set 3, which will be an entirely different discussion when set 3 comes out. I will be now moving on to a deck that I have played with this, and it's the most consistent one that I've seen results with. And I will go over what my thoughts are of the list and what other colors may work with it over there. Alright guys, so this is the list that I was playing. So white was a secondary color I chose because white had a lot of filtering and a lot of blockers, so we could be able to get to the Gundam X and be able to survive that long. The reason I'm only on 2 of each Gundam X is because, again, I'm not on enough level 5s for the rare one to justify more than 2. And the other one, if we get to it, we are going to win. If you get to that point, you're probably going to win. The problem is getting to that point, and this is the most consistent way I've found to get to that point. You've got the 3 grays, just early aggression, which is what this deck needs. Again, the vanilla Airmaster. You've got the Elfrith and Rick Diaz as blockers, along with the other Gundam Airmaster. You've got the red Rick Diaz for aggression, and the pseudo Kira effect on it. You've got the Hyakushiki for repair with the Argama when it's deployed. Quattro is a really good pilot for this deck, linking with the red Rick Diaz and the Hyakushiki, being able to give us a draw and discard. To help filter our hand as well is really nice. Same with Overflowing Affection. Striker Pack and Unforeseen Incident, more protection for our stuff. But again, this is really the most consistent version I've found and that I've played with. I've tried this with a couple other colors. I've tried it with blue. I've tried it with green. I wanted to try it with red, but I couldn't figure something out that I really enjoyed playing it with red. This is just the most consistent version I've found. I've tried it with IBO cards as well, and that didn't work. You can play a just purple good stuff list, which you can find online. I'm not going to build it and put it up on here, which can do some stuff, and IBO cards with blue cards have been shown to be able to perform. Just for the Vulture stuff, again, it just doesn't feel like there's enough of a payoff for it as of this current moment in time. It just feels like the Vulture stuff pulls down and slows down every other color that it's paired with, to the point to where it's a detriment and not just like tempo control. But however, I am open to suggestions if you guys have any ideas on how to make Vultures playable, or any comments about the upcoming stuff, which I know we're getting Jamil and the X Divide, which do help this deck out a lot, or how to play it in the current GDO2 format. Let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully it won't be a couple months out.